So we're here at Amicalola Falls for a girls trip. It's me and Kimmy, my daughter, and April and Amber, my nieces. We wanted to come up to the mountains at Amicalola Falls to enjoy some time together, and of course we can't come up here without being able to think about our history and our heritage. So while we're here, I'm showing the girls some of the old home graves and telling them some stories that I've been told from the time I was a little girl. The first story that I want to tell them about today is it's a story that my father told me. Charles Paget told me about his Uncle Doc. Now, Uncle Doc was actually his great uncle. Uncle Doc's full name was Nathaniel Calvin Goss. He is the younger brother of my great-grandfather, David Pinckney Goss. David Pinckney and Nathaniel Calvin Goss lost their father in the Civil War, and they were both very, very young. So every time I would bring my daddy up here to Amicalola Falls, he would always want to see Uncle Doc's grave. And he would tell me the stories of when he was a little boy, how much he loved Uncle Doc. The Uncle Doc didn't have children. He and his wife were not able to have children, and for some reason he just really liked my father. And the stories that my daddy would tell me about Uncle Doc were when he was a young man. He wanted to become a doctor. So of course he lived up in these hills, and there weren't doctors up here. If they were, there were very few, and very meager training. So Uncle Doc was a very intelligent man. He was able to go down to Atlanta. He was actually trained. At Grady Hospital. The stories that I was told was that there wasn't a lot of money for him to do this, but the family made a way for him to be able to do it. He went there with the clothes on his back. He had only one suit of clothes, and that is what he wore. He would come home every week, and then someone would wash his clothes and hang it up, and they would dry, and then he would put them back on and then go back to Atlanta. Uncle Doc was really special to my dad because he was educated, which was not something that you came by easily in the mountains. It wasn't available back then. And also he was a good man. He had like the first doctor's office here with all of his herbs and everything, and he also traveled. He went all over these mountains. He was the only doctor in the area. He was actually the first person in these mountains to have a car. So he and his wife, as I said before, weren't unable to have children, but they did at some point adopt a little teenage girl, and she was able to have a lot of children. So they were able to have the joy of having family and having grandchildren.